Shouldn't that be more reason to be serious?
No.
I mean, if you don't know when you're gonna die, might as well live the moment, right?
No. Be flippant, be jokey. Don't take anything seriously. That way you're not affected by shit as hard.
Yeah, but that's just not being real. That's just faking it, and then
It's completely real. If you make it real, then it's real. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are here with another episode of Macross Frontier. 19? So, 7 left?
yep.
Alright, well, we've got a couple of comments, of course, from a series ago. First up, we have Elios, from Macross 7, episode Dangerous Kiss. They have Galaxy News. That's fleet-wide. The lost contact again was after the city itself was jumped away from the main fleet. It's like the City 7's long-range comms were disabled when the jump was made. Also, push comms are a thing. It's where they get transmission, just not send them back.
The one-way messages. Okay, I get it. Well, with stuff what we're seeing now in Frontier, changes things a little bit as well, or at least explains some of things with the nature of both space, but still.
I don't know. I guess there's an element of what typically happens in the show so far has been technology gets better, right? So usually you see that things that we weren't able to do in previous shows are things that we're able to do now. But the element of Macross Frontier is that, oh, now there's a new complication, fold rifts or whatever they're called. Yeah, so the fact that there was never a problem with that before and now there is just weird.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's. I think it's the writers trying to explain things away. It's like, oh well, we have improved, but we need. It's the horror movie trope that the cell phones don't work kind of situation, right? It just so happens that you're in the boonies and you don't have cell phone coverage, so you can't call the cops.
Except that
Kind of situation.
the reason that works is that that's a trope. Well, I mean, it's also a writing convenience because obviously we need to isolate the characters, and it's harder to do in the modern world. Even though really it should be easier to do in the modern world because technology sucks. But I don't know. I was gonna say it feels more like that Star Trek thing that they tried to do and then got rid of the warp travel destroys space thing. So we gotta slow down. But then we couldn't do that here because the Centrati have been folding since forever. And now we've got all these natural creatures that can fold, so.
Yeah.
Alright, next up we have RPGX Omega from Macross 7, the episode Sound Force. Since you mentioned both Symphogear and Mazinger Z in this, I am going to make a mention of Happiness Charge Precure. While it is a magical girl show, that season in particular has elements of all of these shows. It's a mind trip of an anime, though quite different from other Precure seasons. They have singing, which is not common for Precure, and abilities that could be comparable to Mecha, particularly Cure Lovely. Also, the voice actor of Ranka Lee is also the voice for Lovely, though Macross 7 was years before Symphogear.
I heard of the Pretty Cure franchise. I guess it gets mentioned in a lot of other anime as well, but you know, I guess it's
I know
Magical
it's massive.
Girl. Yeah. Also, Magical Girls. I think.
Well,
Oh, he
that's what.
just said that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't remember what I was talking about. You must have been the one that brought up Mazinger Z.
Yeah.
Because I think I've only
Well,
seen like 2 episodes of Mazinger if I've seen any of it.
I saw the whole thing when I was a kid.
Well, I watched like, I think if it's the thing I'm thinking of, I watched 2 episodes of Raph and that was it. But I've seen all of Symphogear. so I would have been the one I think bringing up Sympho Gear.
Yeah. Didn't watch the other series. There's like 4 of them. 'Cause they bring once a season is when a show is done, they bring a new version of it, like and it's all about the Koji Kabuto family, or the Kabuto family, yeah. It's complicated. Eventually, all of them
I
it's a
might be
whole
talking about
go
a different show.
so it's Go Nagai, who is, one of the first,
Well, the
manga
one I'm
manga
thinking about
artist.
is Gona Guy, but
Go Nagai, yeah.
um, easy thing to do. Let's type in. Nope, I did not watch Mazinger. It's not in my channel content.
Go Nagai is he did Messenger, has done, Devilman. Um, he is known for not only doing giant robots, but also doing very
Oh wait, no,
edgy
this is
stuff.
easy enough. All I have to do is scroll down my downloads folder because I know I didn't delete it. Yep, here it is. Oh shit, I can't. You know what? Here, let me send you an image real quick
Okay.
because you'll probably be able to figure this out faster than I will just by the image
Mhm.
of the overlay.
Oh, no, that is not
No, well, you know what
Messenger.
show that is? That is a Go Nagai show, though.
It's a Go Nagai show. Yeah, it has his style. Yeah,
I can't
especially the
tell what the
spiky.
logo is because the logo is obviously I may use the Japanese logo.
Also, the multiple robot too as well. So I guess it's a combiner or it's just a team.
Yeah, I think it's the one that melts together.
Yeah, that's not Messenger. Messenger is it's a solo machine.
Like, I'm obviously not showing this to the audience, so they don't know what the fuck you're looking at. There's the short, fat guy who has like a sword on his back or something like that. But he's like afraid of snakes, and like in the second episode, they like lock him in a room full of snakes to try and make him get
Yeah,
over his fear because he like freezes up in the middle of combat in the robot because of his fear.
yeah. I mean, it has all the staples
The
of a
villain
Go
is a
Nagai
giant
show.
snake. That's not trying to say. The villain is a giant like snake man underground who wants to invade the Earth.
Yeah, that sounds like a Go Nagai show. So I'm
Well,
like,
no, it's like they got remade not too long ago, and it was fucking insane. I'm trying to ring bells with you here so you can figure out what I'm talking about.
yeah, no, I haven't. This particular show I haven't watched. So I think I watched you guys talking about it some time ago, but that's about it. That was my first exposure to it. Something about a kid who doesn't want to join any
Get a
clubs. And he's
Robo.
like, get a robo. Okay. Because oh yeah, okay. I heard about Get a Robo. Never watched it myself. Because there's also
Yep, that's
UFO
what it is.
Grandizer. Get a Robo, UFO Grandizer, Messenger, uh, Devil, Devil Man. And there's been a crossover with Messenger. The most popular one is Messenger and Devil Man with but yeah, there's basically been the same, There's always like an institute or a base full of scientists, and the head scientist is either the father or adopted father or uncle of the main character who has a daughter who, kind of likes the main character, and she also pilots her own robot. I mean, there's a little bratty kid, which again, Koji had a bratty little kid. Yeah,
Well, the
it's a
one I
Gonagai
was
show.
talking about as being new was actually 1999. Get a Robo Armageddon. But apparently there's also one from 2021 called Get a Robo Arc. Alright,
Yep, yep.
anyway. Um, we got a board.
We got a board.
Hold on, let me bring it up, actually. Um, yeah. Yeah, I can't even remember what I've done here. I've pointed a pink arrow back at from Ozma to Catherine because obviously there's a thing there. I gave uh, a character now and tied him to Renka or it to Renka. Alto's brother, I gave a green line to Cheryl.
Cheryl, yeah, because Cheryl is in her house in the Sao Tome house. I don't know if is he really?
He helped her,
Yeah,
literally at
but
the end of last episode.
yeah, she was walking days in the rain.
Well, the problem is perception. We don't know if he has an alternative thing, like if he's trying to blackmail Alto into getting back into the old business by
Mhm.
essentially kidnapping her or whatever. We don't
Yeah.
have the amount of perception needed to be able to tell. I'm trying to remember, is there anything else? Obviously, Grace is tied to the government, but I think I just got her connected to Leon, and Leon's connected to everybody else. Oh, Luca, I've got tied to Leon now. I think that's it. I don't remember making a lot of changes. Anything you think I'm missing?
No, not really.
All right. You mentioned that you were going to try and take notes, or did you not take any notes at all?
No. I check my notes and they're so far behind that I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna work.
Now, as I told you, I have not slept at all, so you know when my notes got taken. So let's go through and see if we can figure this out. So Brylar has a ring made of fold quartz too, except, of course, that since he is a full-sized Zentradi, the amount of it he has is more than every other character's holdings combined, except for maybe the Vajra Queen, but she's dead now.
Yeah, which also means how rich he is because it must have been very hard to collect. It only one of the few. Well, it must be naturally occurring, perhaps, but it
Well,
also comes
it's
from the
naturally
Vajra.
occurring in the same way that a pearl is naturally occurring,
Yeah,
and that
yeah,
an animal makes it.
yeah. So you have to have a lot of Vajra corpses.
That's what they're doing.
To, yeah, but that also means that if he had it from the very beginning, then they've been collecting Vajra corpses for some time, perhaps all the way back to
He's a
the
Zentradi.
first Earth.
He's been out in
Yeah,
space longer than we've been a species. I don't know. When it comes to Byrlar, I feel like I have the feeling he's like a robber baron, like a Rockefeller or
yeah. Which is interesting for a Centrati to have been. Well, I guess he adapted to culture and decided, well, capitalism is the thing. I'm going to be a warrior of capitalism.
well, yeah. He says specifically he wants to control communications and travel. I'm sorry, he used a different word, not travel. I just can't remember the word. So essentially, yeah, I'm gonna run the railroads. So when the Bridge Bunnies were joking around about what they might be doing with all the Vajra corpses, when Mina hears that they might be for consumption, she grabs her chest and retches, and in doing so, we get like 5 seconds of her eyes fully open, and she's got normal ass human eyes. I have no idea why she's constantly depicted as having dark eyes. I think they are just trying to make her one of those characters that has their eyes closed at all times, and the effect is just her lashes, but that makes no sense in a lot of the shots.
I think you're right. I think they're going for visual distinctiveness. So,
Well, there's a difference between doing the eyes closed thing, where you just got like slit eyes,
yeah, or the
and
shadowed
as
eyes.
you can tell from her image on the board,
Yeah,
she's
they're
got like the size of normal eyes that are just dark, and that makes no sense for her having regular ass normal human eyes.
I
Alright.
believe also that having purple hair as well wouldn't be, but people
Well,
have all
there's a
kinds of
difference
color hair.
though, that when you pull back, the hair is still purple, versus when we pull in and her eyes turn into normal human eyes. You know, um, Michael Jackson, music video, not the Thriller.
Yeah, when he closes in and turns yellow,
Yeah,
yellow
yeah,
eyes.
at the very end. Yeah, the difference of if
Now
I
he's
looked at you
evil.
across
Yeah,
the room and your eyes were just giant fucking yellow eyes, and I walked closer to you to see what's going on, and you like look back at me and then normal fucking human eyes. Like, what? That's what's going on here. In the classroom, the teacher says they found traces of civilizations on 14 planets, not really clarifying if traces means ruins or what. Either way, that's still more than the number of living civilizations we've met in the show so far. Also kind of surprising, given the habit of Zentradi to glass inhabited worlds before we showed up.
Well, remember also that the Centrati had a mandate to avoid all Micronians.
Well, they avoid micro micronians isn't the right word.
Microns.
And microns is that's what I was about to say. That feels wrong too. I can't remember the right word. Anyway, they avoid them in the same way that somebody who hates spiders, you know, things I hate, I clearly destroy. No, people who are afraid of spiders, right? Sorry, there's a joke in there, but I'm just fucking too tired.
I mean, I get it. If it comes to worse, they will blow up an entire planet, of course,
No,
because
that
they
is their
they want.
mandate. They blow up whatever the word is.
No, I mean
We
the
got that
mandate
from
wasn't
Gold.
that.
Yeah, no, Gold
Oh,
says that's what they do. Doesn't leave this room for Gold.
yeah, but I mean, they decided to destroy Earth because it had contaminated the Centrati. I mean, they've been essentially extensively in contact with it. He made that decision once. In fact, it was Britai who said, "Oh, we have to side with you because they're gonna come and kill us all, so we have no choice."
If I remember correctly, and obviously I'm not the height of clarity right now, what I remember happening was that none of the other Centrati knew that they weren't supposed to come into contact with whatever, the M word. Um,
Yeah.
and it was Exodol who had to do the research and realize, oh shit, we're not supposed to come into contact with these things. And then when they go back and talk to Gold, Gold is like, yeah, no, standing order is we destroy them to ensure that we don't come into contact with these things.
I mean, also the galaxy is pretty big, so
Yeah, but
they
there's
might
also
destroy.
a lot of Centrati, and they've been around
Yeah.
for a long time.
I mean, those traces of civilizations might be stuff that were destroyed by the Centrati or by the evil.
Well, that's why I said the Centrati habit of glassing an entire planet. Seems like it's just lucky that we found 14. Although I'd go for watching that show. Macross archaeology. I mean, you could pull some pretty cool sci-fi stories out of that.
Yeah.
When President Glass asks Leon how they expect to make the Vajra hear the music since they have no mics or speakers, I feel like the obvious answer would be to pull out Sound Force. It's been at least 12 years. There's no telling how much research could have been done on the technology that turns sound waves into light in a vacuum. It's literally the perfect thing for what they are doing without having to make up something new. As little as that stuff gets mentioned, you'd think the Macross 7 went missing.
I think the issue here is that they wanted to, the writers at least, I wanted to correct that. They, it's interesting because Kawamori, one of the head designers and writers of the show, really likes Macross 7. He says it sort of really represents his ideas, within the franchise. But at the same time, I feel that Frontier is a correction to a lot of these things. Like, for example, in Macross 7, they would take damage and whatever. It's like, oh, got to repair the next day. Or back in SDF Macross, like, oh, the miracle workers. Here, on the other hand, it's like, no, we take damage. We have to let go of pieces of the ship. We have to close things, that sort of thing, right? The vibe is very different, right? In the sense of like, yeah, Macro 7 was fine, but it was kind of silly. We're trying, I don't know, depends on how you think how successful they were, to be more,
It's the most successful show.
yeah,
They're trying to
still,
separate themselves from their most successful property, but not even really trying to separate themselves. The last
I
three
mean, no,
episodes have
Frontier,
each featured
Frontier,
have each
I think,
featured Firebomber as their soundtrack. So
yeah. Yeah, the music fine, but I think the mechanics of the worlds, I think that they actually, highest
again, the thing is that you
rated.
can't create it and then let it go. So
Oh,
for
yes, you
my,
can.
no, I don't think you can. I think that's really dumb. That's a dumb choice. You can't. You I know the saying is destroy your babies, but you've
It's kill your darlings. That's the
whatever,
term.
destroy your. Sorry, maybe I'm the serial killer in our detective story. Kill your babies.
Well, actually, the most popular Macross series is I'm looking around now. Oh, this is Google. Macross Frontier. Uh, so a lot of people are saying, yeah,
I don't know. Maybe 2 weeks from now when we're doing Macross again reactions, I'll come back at you with like actual facts and figures because I can't look anything up right now. I just know from
yeah.
tangential experience how much everyone fucking loves Basara.
I mean, yeah, I think he's one of the most popular characters. But as the overall best,
Like I said,
uh,
I if I was like going to try and tell you which Gundam was the most popular, I know that I can pull up like an image of which is the most highest selling Gundam by time frame. So I don't know if there's like an image of that from across anywhere, but
I'm sure there is.
yeah, as I said, I'm not going to try and pull that out off
Yeah. I
top.
mean, I think Bandai is now dealing with all the toy sales for Macross as well. So in a way, Gundam and Macross are kind of under the same umbrella, at least in the toy area.
Well, they will
In
be.
fact, Sunrise will be making the or is making
That's
the
why I said they will
music.
be.
Yeah, yeah. I don't expect any crossovers though, but still,
I hope
that
not.
would be great. Yeah. On one hand, the mechs on Macross
Outside
tend to
of
be
video games, I don't want any crossovers.
oh yeah, those already have happened. Multiple ones. Super
Oh,
Robot
yeah, I
Wars.
know. So I'm saying outside of video games, I
Yeah.
don't wouldn't
Yeah.
care for it. Like, what would the point?
Yeah.
The
I
reason for the
think
creation of mobile suits and the reason for the creation of the Valkyries are just two different things. Like, in a world where you have a mobile suit, that is technically already your answer to the Centrati. You wouldn't need a Valkyrie.
yeah.
And in a world where you have Valkyries, you kind of already have mobile suits in that the monsters are just like mobile suits if you think about it, because they don't do
Yeah.
very much else. They're like the
Um
mobile workers, actually, which
yeah.
are same thing.
Yeah, you have the destroids and all that, which are pretty much also I think in terms of scale, on one hand, Gundams tend to be on one to one more powerful than Valkyries, but the enemies in Macross are far more powerful than anything you've seen in
Eh.
I mean,
Did
do you
you
think
watch
the Air
Gundam
Federation
Double? Did you watch Gundam Double O?
no, I think it's just the one that the aliens show up, isn't
That's
it,
in
right?
the movie. The movie is the only
Yeah.
the aliens, and the aliens are like I don't know. I guess like living gray goo, in that if they touch machines and or metal things, they can like copy them, but they also take over and destroy the thing itself. And it's just like a Jupiter amount of it. Like
Yeah.
literally, you see the fleet just orbiting Jupiter, and it's just like massive. And also, they create like a wormhole to come from where they're originally. It's a whole fucking thing. So it's not like Gundam hasn't dealt with aliens of an unbelievable power scaling before. Also,
Yeah, but
Gundam
also
loves its super weapons, and Macross doesn't have that many super weapons.
I mean, you have a giant beam weapon on most of your capital ships, so
Yeah, but
that
even
shows up.
I think the beam weapons, like the beam weapons in Macross, are like I don't know, maybe Wing Zero in scaling, and Wing Zero is so much smaller and doesn't require the power up time of all of those things. Like I said, Wing Zero takes out every Macross ship so far. Again,
I mean,
it's the difference of the average power level of a Valkyrie is pretty strong compared to the average power level of like every mobile suit in Gundam, but the power scaling of the Gundams is so far above the average scaling of a Valkyrie, even a hero Valkyrie or whatever you want to call it. Like
yeah, no,
Basara's Valkyrie is like probably the strongest one we've ever seen on the show so far. And that thing doesn't hold up to any of the main Gundams in, well, I would say in the AAC, the alternative universe, AU rather, the alternative universes. Obviously, RX-78-2 is going to get its ass kicked by Basara, I think. But um, strike freedom, I think, can take out Basara.
Leave that to the comments. What do you think is best
Well, we've
or
had this
strongest?
debate before, but I think we were debating just like average mobile suit versus average
Okay, yeah.
Valkyrie, yeah. Emotion Index is a heck of a reading to have for a song. Reminds me of that bad movie, The Apple, where they measure the audience's reaction to music in heartbeats.
Well, we talked about that. You mentioned that all the way back at Macross Plus, where they were reading the emotional content of the audience while well, not while Sharon Apple was performing.
I don't remember that. I just
Yeah,
remember
but
in this last 3 episodes, Grace was reading the emotion index.
yeah, so yeah, they're using that from Macross Plus, like literally, because you made the set comments. Oh, that reminds me of that movie. It was like, yeah, there you go.
This all feels like a real Sarah Kerrigan move. Pacify the Vajra with some strange communication device, in this case, fold waves, and destroy them in their confusion. It's certainly underhanded. The thing is, we all know what happened to Kerrigan at the end, and we've been doing nothing but making guesses at what Renko really is.
Yeah, that falls into squarely into spoiler territory. So no comment from me.
Hey, remember how Basara's singing helped people out of comas, and in fact raised their spiritua so that depressed people became normal, and normal people got energized? The whole flashback scene of Renka and Ozma moving into their home, and Renka coming out of her stupor, is being backed by Firebomber, aka Basara's singing.
I think that's putting too much stock into that.
Well, for one thing, Renka is like in a haze the entire time, but also I'm not putting too much stock into it. Literally, they play it in the hospitals to people who are out of comas.
Yeah, in Macro 7, but not here in Frontier.
Because it's been 12 years, I'm assuming that's standard medical practice now.
It's an assumption, all
I
right.
feel like in a universe where it's happened already,
Mhm.
you would be guilty of malpractice for not playing Firebomber if your loved one was in a coma.
I wouldn't want to torture my loved ones like that.
Except that everybody loves it. In fact, you would be the one torturing them by keeping them in a coma because for some reason you're the odd one out that doesn't like Firebomber. Like Gamlin was the odd one out for feeling like it was torture, and then Gamlin loves Firebomber.
Mm.
So I guess it's also like a medicine, like learning to love castor oil, I guess. Well, you gotta take your medicine, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
and if the music is medicine, and apparently you could just learn to love the music. Among the many theories I have about Ranka, something that keeps popping into my head would be how much of a twist of a knife it would be if Ozma really was her dad, and he's had to pretend to be her brother all this time. I mean, he also recognized Barrera with memories of him as a child, plus that photo from on board the Global. I know I already said this theory many episodes back, but evidently it helps to repeat them to you. I'll remind you about our argument about the virus.
Yeah, no, but in this case,
Not asking you to
I
confirm
just
stuff we don't actually know. I'm just putting it out there to remind you again before we watch 3 episodes back to back that if you're going to pull an aha, you didn't realize moment, that once again, I have said
it's a
so much
it's
shit in the last
it,
20
it's a
episodes.
theory. It's a theory. Let's put it that way.
A game theory. So, Michael sure is taking his sweet ass time investigating that pill he found on the floor. A number of episodes later, and he's only just asking Clan about her connections to some pharmaceutical person he can investigate with. All the while, Cheryl is slumping around, possibly being drugged or poisoned. I mean, we find out that it was actually helping hold off a disease that she has, and the illness was the side effect. But come on, my guy. Way to take initiative late in the game.
Well, I think that might be a factor of it's weird because especially when we were talking about 7, one of the things that especially I said was it was too many episodes. I think one of the factors, one of the things I would critique about Frontier is because they start out from the very on when they said that, "Oh, this is the whole arc number is gonna be 25." We only have 25 episodes, right? So, that an investigation like that running in the background, I think would have required about not entire an episode, but like a half an episode or so. So you because we only seen when they go to the library to check that out and you know talking to Clang. It requires a little bit more, right? Especially Michael, who his only real connection outside of SMS to the military was his sister, who committed suicide because of
He
you know.
doesn't need the connection to the military, though, to investigate this shit.
Well, he's
In fact, that's
somebody
why he
who's
asks
coming.
Clan.
Yeah, it comes from a. He's not in the best position to. He doesn't really have any authority. I mean,
Again,
Luke
he
would.
asks people for help. That's what I'm saying. He
Yeah.
could have done that at any point.
Hmm.
And he's constantly being put around Cheryl. So he's constantly seeing how bad off she is. But, oh, I found this pill on the ground. Cheryl's doing pretty bad. Constantly in the hospital. I suspect something's up, but I'm really gonna drag my feet and, be real jokey in the background in the meantime.
Yeah.
It's not a good look. They should have taken all those episodes where he has problems and put them in between him finding the pill and him doing something.
Yeah.
The whole reminder about his sister episode shit, and I guess he's only had one problem. Well, at least we finally confirmed that Leon wasn't just abusing his power with Catherine. They are engaged to be married. Doesn't do much for his guilt in other matters, but at least it's something.
Although clearly she's not into it, or is moving away from it anyway. Because they're also running an investigation. Ozma and her are running an investigation about what's going on.
Yeah, that's why she tore up the room to make sure there was no listening devices. In our Ozma/Catherine sex scene, Ozma gets a call from the NECG, the National Emergency Care Center. Sorry, I don't know why there's a G in there. In fact, you know what? Never mind. I forgot SMS doesn't stand for its own abbreviation either, so maybe that is just what they put down. Also seems pretty clear he was going to propose to Catherine when he rushed off to whatever the emergency was. The one thing about the scene that confuses me, though, is that it seemed like a flashback to me. Though Ozma has his current stubble, rechecking, Catherine isn't wearing the same clothes as in the sex scene before or after it. I have to think it's something from the recent past. Maybe a memory of Catherine's about why they didn't work out due to his attention being on Renka, I suppose.
Well, if Ranka still having at the time had problems with her memory and had an episode, and he got a call for it because he's the only adult that super you know in charge, then that would be like, oh, I need to go because Ranka needs me, and she's like, ah, yes, of course.
My point more so just trying to figure out if it was a sex scene that they just had or did not just have. Because when the scene starts, she's wearing clothes that are a bit disheveled. But when we go into the sex scene, she's wearing like a blouse with a tie, but she's not wearing a blouse or a tie when we go back to or before when it started. So either they could have just had something before the scene started, or this is back in the past.
Yeah, probably more likely not back in the past.
So Luca, he's either the innocent younger brother of the company heads of the LAI, or he's the one enabling everything as a willing participant of Barlar and Leon's. He certainly supplied goods to Grace's side, though most likely to Leon, who then gave it to Grace, as he thought Leon was working for Bylar until Grace revealed she was the one Leon was working with. And now he's willingly going along with Leon to protect.
I mean, we don't know exactly what Leon may have said to him, right? Because
We
their
do, actually.
conversations are
There was a conversation very specifically about this is what I'm referring to, where Luca is talking to Leon about Leon following Bylar's vision, and Leon saying, "No, actually, I'm not doing that, and here's what I'm doing." And then Grace walks into the room, so it's a very specific scene between Grace, Leon, and Luca all at once.
yeah, but he doesn't say exactly what he's trying to do. He says, "Oh, he mentions Grace. Grace comes in. Luca looks at her like, okay."
But no, but I'm
And
talking about him not following Bylar's vision, because
oh, okay.
Luca is assuming that Leon is being sponsored by Bylar, and Luca is obviously following Bylar's vision. So the fact that Leon says that he's not following that vision and is in fact working with another group, and then Grace comes in and says, "Hey, we're the other group,"
Yeah.
is the clarification there, and the fact that Luca is still working with them. Seeing as the Vajra can adapt to weapons and adapted to nukes, I wonder if they could take on the Proto-Devlin.
I suppose it's a bit of a spoiler if I go in there.
So I was right about I the whole time. We saw a Vajra egg hatching somewhere, and it literally looks like the eyes back inside of it.
Little Vajra. Little cute little Vajra is going to turn into a giant monster that can shoot ships and destroy them with one shot. Cute.
The document that Leon is holding, Operation Cinderella's Horn, is just an Adobe After Effects advertisement.
I'm not surprised.
Well, they're being, I wouldn't say ballsy, but they're being insulting about it. Like, I paused one scene to read it when he's like holding it off like that far away.
Yeah.
But then the camera zooms in on Renka's like measurements, date of birth, where she lives and everything, and literally the paper right next to it is Operation Cinderella's Horn, sorry. And it's still all the Adobe After Effect advertisement text. So like they went like close in camera so you could read it. The issue of Cosmo Nature that Michael and Clan are reading is from 2047, the year of the Macross 7 OVA, Management and Prevention of V-Type Infection. The rest of the page is more advertising for After Effects, by the way.
And that production really liked their After Effects. I mean, it's a lot of CGI, so yeah.
Until Clan scrolls down and we see the image of Dr. Mao Name, Ranzu Mai, and Dr. Grace O'Connor. Although the text right underneath them is more After Effects advertisement. So in this one series alone, we've got an advertisement for, God, I can't remember the original one. It was that sports company.
Yeah.
And my last note here. Seems like Dr. Ranzu Mai could have been Rinka's mom. Ozma has that same picture on him. Certainly looks like she's wearing a lab coat in Ozma's version. Also, more evidence towards my he's her dad theory.
I was thinking about how, well, I guess that could work. Unavoided spoiler, so never mind.
Yeah, there'll be less of that as we go on, considering there's only so many episodes left.
True enough.
All right, well, if you've got nothing else, well, let's go ahead and hop on into it.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
どうしたの？ママがいないの。お仕事が大変だからみんな返してくれないんだよ。寂しいの？
Doesn't look like the planet that they were on before.
ならいい方法があるわ。
So I guess the nest is somewhere in the bowels of the frontier. I've also been kind of worried that something horrible is about to happen to I. Not here specifically, like the last 3 episodes. I've been thinking that I is going to die and something horrible. It's going to set off something horrible.
Yeah.
Although I don't know why. I guess
Uh-huh.
maybe Renka's connection to I,
Yeah.
because she doesn't seem terribly bothered watching them blow up all the other Vajra.
Vajra, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, the one she has a connection to versus the one she don't. I also don't specifically know how Cheryl gets out of this alive. Well, you know, my previous thing about her being the 9th Cheryl, the fact that information from 6 years ago had her, you know, on the hospital bed with all the shit on her.
Yeah.
The fact that it's basically an uncurable disease or infection.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that she gets out of this alive. I don't know how. She's in fucking movies after this. So, I mean, unless they upload her into a computer and she's just a hologram.
They Karen Apple her?
Sorta. Well, this doesn't make any sense. Remember after the long distance fold, they were supposed to go into level 4 rationing of power and everything? This doesn't look like that.
CMM.
ランカ君はどうなってる？現在問い合わせ中です。わざわざ彼女の学校を会場にしたんだ。午後のコンサートには必ず間に合わせろ。いいな。
ごめんなさい、大統領さん。
She's Clark Kenting it.
Pretty clear reflexes.
He's a cyborg.
Yeah.
Everyone knows he's a cyborg now, too. Which is odd since it's illegal to be a cyborg here.
Yeah.
Well, you figure if they've made it illegal to be a cyborg, that would mean that they would have a like a migration thing against cyborgs being able to come on board.
理由はどうあれ、二度と近づかぬと誓ったこのお屋敷の敷居をまたいだのですから。
Technically, no, you're outside of the house.
Oh, you're in the court. In.
He said he would never step inside this house again. He still hasn't done that. Technically, they wound up 200 light years less.
いいな、キャッシー注意はしっかり休暇取ってさ。
お釣りですよ。
どうも。はい、 スーパーチリチリドッグでいいのよね。あ
Sonic is gonna be
ー、
pissed.
Sonic.
Chili dogs.
たく
あー
こいつめ
I think you just ate the paper.
Yeah.
辛い
本当に。
いつまで笑っている。
ごめんなさい。だって驚いたブレラさんなんて初めて見たから。ありがとう。ありがとう。私のわがまま。
I can't tell if they're putting on a farce or not.
言ったはずだ。俺はお前を守ると。
Because the way she's giggling, it's like too much. Seems like on purpose.
どうした。
I know. I mean that she's a teenager, so teenagers do get the giggles.
Well, maybe I'm hearing it wrong then. I was talking about Catherine.
おい。
Oh no, they're definitely putting a farce.
うるさい。調べ物の代わりに私の言うことを聞く約束だろ。
しょうがないな。午後のスタントまでだぜ。
分かってる。で、あいつは言ったのか。
ようやく重い腰を上げたよ。
優柔不断なやつ
I
だ。
mean, he didn't make it though.
でもまあ、あちこち手を出す不実なやつよりマシだがな。
ますますもって同感だね。
Gunk. The thing that goes to gunk.
こちらですよ。
To be fair, I thought the fake out was actually me. No, that's his dad.
何しに来たの？
何と。おっさま。お前、体の具合が。
見ての通りピンピンしてるわよ。で、私になんのよ。
I was like, he doesn't know.
なんかさんが自分で
Yeah, that
So,
she's
大丈夫なん
yeah,
です
all
か。
Michael said was talk to her before it's too late,
それにランカ
or
さん
you'll regret it for the rest of your life.
少しくらい羽目を外した方がいいかなって。
アイくん、ランカさんのペットでしたよね。じゃあ僕、探すの協力しますよ。
ありがと
詳しい特徴教えてください。
ね。
ルカ、手伝ってくれ。
ごめんなさい。七瀬さん、また後で。
I guess he didn't tell her when he came back. Like, I gotta tell you something when I come back, and he didn't.
Yeah, well, she went off on her own thing to get hired by, Grace
歌じゃもうやりたいこと大体やっちゃったし。
unofficially.
だから今度は違うことしてみようかなって。
待てよ。お前言ってたよな。自分は幸運だけであそこまで行ったんじゃない。努力して頑張って自分で運命をつかみ取ったんだって。俺もなんかもお前があの時。
嘘よ。あれは嘘。あの頃は私が私自身に嘘をついて
To be fair, she was aided an immense amount by a hacking cyborg lady.
の妖精セリルノームじゃなかったのかよ。
そうよ。私はシェリルノームよ。歌おうが歌わまいが私は。
I honestly would not be surprised if it turns out that she's not a Name at all.
なんかのライブがある。
And for that matter, that Rinka actually is a Name, like I was originally saying.
必ず来い。これが
ええ、フォールドクォーツの波動特性を解析して作った新型弾。あのディメンションイーターを汎用小型化したものよ。
MD だ。
Oh man, I too loved Outlaw Star.
またしばらくバジラに通用しそうですね。量産は
If you don't remember, those bullets turn into like little micro black hole sort of
でも
things.
これ
Same thing.
あくまでおまけよ。やっと長年の謎が解けたの。 乱世にもドクター・マオにも解けなかったクイーンの謎が。
では例の計画にゴーサインを出しても構いませんね。
そのために今日の会場をセッティングしたくせに。
これから
you could look more like a villain. Time to kill the president. Well, now I gotta go get Theodore. I think it's the CIA or the Secret Service knocking. Can't say that shit out loud anymore.
役者ですね、なかなか。ミオ様、アルトさんのお母様です。もともとお体が弱かったのですが、アルトさんが12の時に。思い出します。よくそこの縁側で。
That's when Alto-san started dressing like a woman and murdering people in a hotel.
私をかくまったのはアルトにその頃のことを思い出させて、もう一度歌舞伎の舞台に立たせるため。ならお会いに行くね。私じゃ役に立たないわ。
私はまだ希望を捨てていません。舞台に立つこと、人前で芸を披露することは甘美な、あまりにも甘美な毒です。ご見物たちの注目を集め、煽り、
So it very much seems like
あの熱狂、あの興奮、すべてを支配する
the plays that he was in. Very much like he was making out with his brother.
Well, he's not his brother.
Sort of is.
Yeah, no, he's his substitute, basically.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's technically acting as a brother. Don't minimize the effect of adopted family.
ここまでやる気だったとはな。
今まで集めた証拠と合わせれば彼は破滅ね。
いいんだな。
Except for when he kills the president and becomes acting commander of the Macross frontier.
やっぱりいないのかな。
そのあたりで道草を食っているんだ。案ずるな、きっと帰ってくる。すまん、痛かったか。
ううん。でもやっぱり思った通りだね。ブレラさんってなんかお兄ちゃんみたい。もしかして妹とかいたりする？
さあ、俺は過去の記憶がない。肉親の有無もわからない。
なら私と同じだね。私も昔のこと。
Well, everyone thinks you're getting your memories back, though, so that's inconvenient.
どうして歌うことを歌手になろうとしたんだ？
それは歌が好きだから。
最近のお前は歌っていても楽しそうじゃない。お前は何のため、誰のために歌っている？
私みんなに伝えたいの。だから聞いてくれる？私の歌。
好きにしろよ。
私みんなに伝えたいってそう思ってた。ずっと
What Basara would have done.
でも本当は
I guess she's kind of like a reverse Basara. She's constantly telling us what she's all about, and she's only singing for one person, really. Dumb looking helmet. I guess technically she's like Lin May meets Basara.
No, not really. Why Basara?
Popularity of Basara, musical effect of Basara. They've measured her like using the word sound force, but that's not what I mean. Her music has an actual effect versus Lin May's, which is just singing. She's also got like just a couple of songs, just like Lin May, and the one dance move apparently.
俺たちもヘマできないな。遅れるなよルカ。分かってます。どれだけ一緒に飛んでると思ってるんです。なら一人でこそこそ動くなよ。俺たちはチームなんだ。先輩。
Oh.
見てろよ、シェリル。
I just mean that she's in the category of idols in this show that actually have power with their songs.
Yeah.
ミシェル、およ。今だアルト。エクスペ
アルト君、そっか。やっぱり私。
It was confusing because you said "Watch me, Cheryl," so
Yeah. Well, she doesn't know that.
yeah, I know. That's why I said it's confusing.
And she was watching.
逃げるな。
People cosplaying as.
で、
Uh-oh.
どうだった？シェリルは。ピンピンしてて拍子抜けさ。
For half a second, I thought we were going to get a new version of My Boyfriend's a Pilot. It's been forever.
Yeah.
鈍いのもいい加減に罪だぜ。そろそろ答え出せよな。何がだよ。とぼけんなよ。いくらお前でもさすがに気づいてんだろ。この歌もさっきの歌も。ランカちゃんはお前に向けてお前のためだけに歌っているんだ。そんなこと。シェリルもだ。今あの子はとても辛い状況にある。でもそれが分かったとき。
I think you're more guilty about the Cheryl thing. I mean, you could not notice the fact that Rank is singing all these songs at you because you spent 70% of the show with Cheryl.
Yeah.
お前みたいな三つ股四つ股野郎に女のことで説教されるとはな。俺は臆病なんでね。人間なんざいつ死んじまうかわからない。特に俺たちはパイロットだからな。付き合うのは割り切った相手だけさ。本気になるのもさせるのもほっかなくてな。
Shouldn't that be more reason to be serious?
お前は違う。
No.
I mean, if you don't know when you're gonna die, might as well live the moment, right?
No. Be flippant, be jokey. Don't take anything seriously. That way you're not affected by shit as hard.
Yeah, but that's just not being real. That's just faking it, and then
It's completely real. If you make it real, then it's real. Nothing says you have to be attached to anything.
we are social creatures.
Yeah. No strings commitments, man.
これが船内にバジラの妖精がそんなバカな。
Yeah, it's not like the Vajra have been on board multiple times in the past.
要件は何だったかな。
レオン三島首席補佐官、あなたを特別背任、
Is he a
秘密保持法
doctor?
違反および騒乱準備罪の疑いで告発します。
クーデターなんざ企んでやがったとはな。だがこれで貴様はジエンドだ。残念、少し遅かったね。
Sorry, there's a something. The element of saying you're too late.
いいのか悪いのかよく
Because, you know, once I've killed him, I've got the authority to pardon myself for the crimes that I'm now about to commit. You might understand it, because it's a recent political problem that we're right now having.
アルト君アルト君
Uh-oh.
アルト君言うんだ私伝えなきゃ私の気持ち
Oops.
Hey, the previous opening song.
Mm-hmm.
嘘
なんか
Hey, wasn't Sarah Kerrigan a jilted lover?
Hmm?
I don't
What?
feel like repeating it.
Well, no, she was abandoned, not jilted.
No, she was also a jilted lover.
Of who? Of, what's his name?
Yes. I can't remember his name either, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Not the Emperor, though.
No, she did not have a former love affair with Palpatine.
No. The guy who becomes the Emperor in space? Starcraft.
Spacecraft, yes, no, she's not.
But,
No, she never had a thing with Minx, as far as I can tell.
yeah, no, so.
Jim Raynor.
Raynor, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
now that the Vajra stuff is at its ultimate high point,
Mm-hmm.
time to go back to that love triangle thing.
Depends.
No, it's what we just did.
バジュラに襲われるフロンティア、悲劇の幕が上がるとき、こぼれる涙は星屑となる。次回ダイヤモンドクレバス、鎮魂の歌、銀河に響け。
Alright, so Catherine's dad's clearly dead. Can't nuke the Vajra when they're in the middle of us.
Mm-hmm.
Not that it would work anyway.
Oh, they have those new bullets, but if they don't have enough of them, then they're screwed.
No, it doesn't matter. The bullets are micro dimension eaters, which means it'd be the same thing as doing a nuke in the middle of us.
Yeah. Things
You
are
gotta
screwed.
get some weight in here too, buddy.
Yeah, there's things are going down sideways real fast.
Well, I mean, who the hell am I looking at? Is that Michael?
I don't know. Why are you looking at Michael?
Is
Yeah.
it
So what?
Michael?
I mean, what do you mean? What is it about Michael?
I don't know. I guess the hair? The glasses? Michael wears glasses, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So it's Michael, right?
In the last, yeah. And
I'm asking you a question.
yeah, he is. So what? What's the point?
You understand the Socratic method isn't usually involved with and yeah. You know, just don't follow a question with a question if it's meaningless.
I answer the question. It's him.
Yeah, and then you're like, yeah. Like,
what is the point of bringing him up?
that's him, right?
Yes, that's him.
We're looking at Michael right now.
Oh, the last frame is Michael. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was asking.
Okay. There you go. You got
I
an
feel
answer.
like you watch too many like legal procedurals or something. Like you expect everything to be like some leading question into a grand orchestrated speech or something. Is that Michael? Yeah. Well, as we all know, Michael was at the like. What the fuck you expect me to say? I just say,
Well,
"Is
you
that
asked
Michael?"
me.
That's a weird angle. He's like this, and it's like I don't know. For a second, I thought it was Lucas' face.
You asked me a question and I answered. That is Michael.
But yeah, that's what happened. I didn't ask you a question. You're like, yeah, so what? Why? No, fifth degree after asking, is that Michael on screen?
Okay. So somebody's about to eat a bullet.
I'm
Or
assuming he
so
already
it
has.
seems. Well, they didn't take the shot yet.
I
But
mean,
the
I'm
next
assuming it
one,
happened off screen. Because when you're in a position like this, and our point of view is literally down a sniper scope, what are your options?
yeah, no, there's
Brutally
no.
show a guy getting his head blown off on screen, or just allude to it?
I mean, this is anime, so we could go both ways. You could literally have the situation where they hear about it and then show it, or they show it and they hear it, or they just simply allude to it and then show it because it could go all,
I just assume they'll
it's
do it off screen.
Yeah. I mean, they switch a guy to a pool of blood in the first episode, so
Off screen.
well, we see the blood coming like in torrents, right? We
Yeah.
don't see him get squished, but we see like,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is we don't see it on screen.
Yeah.
So, if they're not willing to do that there,
Yeah.
seems unlikely that they're going to do, like, the head's got, we're not going to pull up JFK.
Yeah. Or they did do You Remember Love, where they literally would point the guns at the heads of the Centrati and blow them away. So
I don't remember that.
it happened a couple of times.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it doesn't seem like you've got a lot of way in here.
No. I'm still processing. Poor Ranka. Well, I don't think she really was ever in the running to begin with. I always felt that Alta was more like, oh yeah, she's a nice girl and I like her as a friend, but there's Cheryl, and that was it. He's always been in his eyes always have been on Cheryl, right? He's always surprised that, oh, Ranka, oh yeah. Oh, okay. Even when he was talking to Michael, it's like, well, you don't realize it? It was like, oh, it's like, And then Cheryl shows up and it's like, oh, Cheryl, so yeah. Unless it's a last minute reprieve or something. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't know. If he doesn't realize it, then it's not really his fault if Ranka doesn't say it. Unless well, I guess technically it is his fault, and that the idea is that the songs have been aimed at him this entire time.
Yeah.
I don't know. He is kind of dense.
He's also a teenager.
No
All
excuse.
teenagers. Of course it is. People
No,
don't know what
we've
they
had
want.
this argument before.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I just don't see a reason to have it again, because literally we're just going to say the same things. I disagree. You disagree. I hate kids. Teenagers are just older kids.
Oh. I don't know. I used to be one, so I don't hate myself that much.
Well, I do.
I guess it's a matter of degrees.
Right. That puts you on one side of an argument and me on the other.
Guess so.
Yeah. 180 degrees.
Oh, not that far apart, I think.
I think so. You're saying teenagers aren't that bad because we've all been teenagers. And I'm saying, yeah, teenagers are all horrible. We were all teenagers.
And
Really, at the base of it, it's no different than original sin, if you think about it.
okay, I'm thinking about it. And
Oh, well, you're saying that teenagers is an inherent state that's natural to all of us to behave in a specific way versus how we behave after we learned better after entering the real world versus, say, the microcosm of relationships that's formed in, say, a high school situation, which is to say that that's your original sin analog in that we're born to be a specific way or we're shaped to be a specific way by the age and, again, positions that we're placed in socially at that age. And I'm saying, no. I'm saying that people can be different. There are exceptions to every rule, and that people don't have to be the social constructs that we have to label them as by the age or social scenarios that they are in. Because even in those high school scenarios, there is a background of people that aren't, in this sort of thing.
true. But you also have to understand that this is also the nature of the stories, and they do tend to tick certain boxes. And therefore, even though you do have because you always have outliers or outliers? Outliers. Yeah.
No outliers.
Outliers. That doesn't mean that the mean curve, like the mean of the curve is most people, not all people, and not all people all the time, of course, but many, if not most, fall into it. So just because you have outliers, in many ways, it's exception that kind of proves the rule.
I don't think you put people into a bell curve. Also, the element of it's as part of the narrative doesn't come into play when your excuse for the narrative is that he's a teenager. Because again, they're just putting him into a box, and I don't think people only deserve to be in a box at one point in their life.
That's about it, really. Once that happened, that's all she wrote.
No, because that would be a murder. If she's
Well,
writing about it, then it's a murder.
We don't know how you got, the person got put in the box.
Well, because murder...
That's a mystery. That's a mystery we have to solve.
Murder is all she wrote.
Yes.
Murder she wrote.
Yeah, exactly. Which means we have to solve that mystery. This is one of those mysteries that we have to solve.
Okay, well, it seems that we've narratively put me as dead into the story where you're a detective. So, disappointing, but I have to work with the narrative. So,
there you go.
Unless I'm not actually dead, but it's too... I'm assuming if I'm in a box and I'm already dead, I can't pull myself out of this.
Yeah.
You've accepted the fact that you're responsible for a bunch of dead kids. I guess I have to respect that I'm also dead.
Unless you're playing a stripper, in which case you could be in a box but not dead.
I guess I don't know as much about strippers as you do.
You see the whole cop stripper thing that it's going to be the bachelorette party, and they come out of a cake or a box. That thing. That's
sorry. I love it that in your world, cakes and boxes are the same thing.
Oh, it could be a cake or it could be a box.
Also, usually that cop strippers are the ones that come out of cakes in your world.
Oh, if it's
I'm
a
familiar with the
party,
idea of like a bachelor party where yes, stripper comes out of a cake. No, bachelorette party is the one where you have a cop. No, sir, the party's too loud. You're gonna have to turn it. Whatever they do, whatever they say. But your version, it's a cake where a cop comes out of it. And I will also say that I have never heard of a stripper coming out of a box.
That actually happened in what was a Seagal movie, or was going to happen.
I don't watch a lot of Seagal movies either, so
it was one on the battleship. Actually, I watched a couple of movies and then I realized they were just trash.
I kind of feel like I should know the name of this, even though I don't watch.
With Tommy Lee Jones playing the villain.
I don't know. I don't.
Yeah.
Even if I hear the name and it is what I'm thinking, I'm sure I haven't watched it. Sorry, all I get is Clear and Present Danger. That's not right.
Oh, that's a completely different movie.
Yeah, no. I mean, those Steven
With
Seagal
neither of
movie
those
names are
actors.
real dumb. You can figure them out pretty
Yeah.
easily, but it's not like he's a horrible actor too. So why would I watch a Steven
True.
Seagal movie?
Yeah. I mean, it was basically all Tommy Lee Jones, you know.
Yeah, but Steven Seagal plays the hero, so it would be all him,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, to put up with that kind of crap. He does give a good speech at the end, but I think that was all mostly the directing and writing, you know.
I mean, just
Anyway.
no point in it. Also, not that big into those kind of movies, which I guess is just, martial arts action movies.
I used to be because my mom loves them. My mom used to love a lot of the Chinese kung fu theater stuff, which was pretty silly, but she loved it. So I was like,
I
I
think
watched
most
it
I
with her.
watched like a couple of Ip Man movies.
I think I watched the first and the second one. I haven't watched. I like there like 5 of 8 man.
Yeah, no, it's a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, this episode
Yeah.
does
Well,
happen
again,
or about to happen.
the idea that you dismiss their activity because they're teenagers is just something I get a lot in the comments. For like Vinland Saga and whatnot, and that I didn't like the actions of the main characters or some of the characters, and they're like, well, they're fucking kids. It's like, I don't give a shit who they are. I have the viewpoint of an adult. I have a viewpoint of an adult, and I cannot see the world through a child's lens. And again, I'm not Tom Hanks. This isn't the movie Big.
Good movie, by the way.
Well, it's the element of growing up that, I no longer see the world in that way. It's not full of whimsy and wonder or carefree, laid back adventure. It's a world of exhaustion, pain, tiredness, the reality that the future is scary, and it's scarier because you know what's coming, not because of the dark or a sound under your bed or whatever, the house creaking. It's not a fear of the goosebumps. It's a fear of who's going to get elected to run Medicare, and my medical future is entirely dependent on the guy next door and what he voted on in the recent election, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
It's not the same. I can't look at the world in the same way that an anime child does anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of why I enjoy like the anime Gate, where the main character is a fucking adult.
That's true. Well, that's as good as point in any to end this. If you don't mind.
All right. Once again, I have been Theta. This is Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye bye.